going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, then welcome. If you're a returning viewer or subscriber, then welcome back, sexy. But if you don't know, my name is Tyler, and today we're going to be playing with my 5-speed Grand Marquis, also known as Bonnie. Now, if you guys saw my last video, then you saw that we successfully, we as in me and my buddy, successfully got the good old steed back on the road. So, as you guys probably saw in that video, she was super nasty looking. She's been sitting for 1.5 years outside after she blew up her second trans. And I did get the car cleaned up this week. I didn't take any footage of that because it was a lot of scrubbing and just power washing. You know, a little satisfying to watch, I'm sure, but at the same time it kind of is boring. So, I got her cleaned up, which doesn't really matter because there's already an inch layer of pollen on this thing. But I did a couple things I want to walk you guys through, and there's still a lot more work that needs to be done on this car. But she's going in the right direction, and pretty happy with it. It's been pretty fun driving her again and getting the daily of this thing. For those who don't know, this was my first car. Got it when I was 15, and did a 5-speed swap on it. I want to say back in about 2021, and the car just had nothing but problems because either I was doing shit wrong or something wasn't right. But here she is back on the road again, and I want to make her better than ever. So let's dive in. First things first, I'll show you guys some two things I took care of on the interior, 2 or 3, I guess. I guess number 1, I pulled out the good old shift ball that was on this car since day 1 with the 5-speed, and you might be able to tell. It's got a nice hairline fracture around it, and it is missing chunks on this side and this side. When the second transmission blew up, it actually shot the ball off of the handle and shattered it basically. So I was able to JB weld, like epoxy glue it back together. So now we got that. So that's the shifter, so that's good. Number 2 was I went to Walmart and I got this cheap rubber like floor mats, and they're pretty thin, so I wouldn't mind doing more of these or getting like one really nice thick one. But basically I have 2 of them, kind of just cut a hole in it. I have one laying this way on the tunnel and then one laying this way over the tunnel. So this has definitely helped with noise, exhaust fumes, and just like outside air coming in through the bottom. So that's good. Again, this is not permanent, but it is getting me by for daily driving it. And then number 3 for the interior, come down here, is I rigged up this little bracket to hold the brake light button. So as you can see, it's kind of hard to tell. Now this is not pretty, but it works. So you can see when the brake pedal is just resting, it's pushing up on the black threads. And then when you push on the pedal, that little white button comes out, and what that does is it turns on the brake lights. So this is me letting off the pedal completely and then just pushing back on it. So now I have functioning brake lights. That's cool. Before, I actually just had literally a little toggle on and off switch for the brake lights, which was really sketchy, really annoying to drive. So now that that's done correctly, that's good. And I'll pop the hood and show you guys what I did under here. Which again, nothing crazy. It's just stuff I've been putting along this week. So I installed my wipers and my cowl back under the car. So that's nice to have. And just basically gently power washed the engine bay the other day when I power washed the entire car. So she's definitely cleaner than she was. Nothing perfect, nothing crazy again, but you know, God forbid something goes wrong. If I have a leak somewhere or whatever, I gotta work on something really quick. It's a lot easier and a lot nicer to work on a cleaner area than it is to be working on a disgusting piece of shit. So I basically have just cleaned the car up a little bit here and there, and done a couple baby little refinements, like I said, on the inside. But what I want to do in this video is walk my dumb ass over here. I would like to put in this sensor. So it's a 645-213 Dorman. I was able to order this from AutoZone and they next date it, so that's cool. Let's see. And this is what it looks like. So this is actually the speed sensor pigtail to plug in to the TR3650 Tremec 5-speed from the Mustang. This is the plug that goes into the Speedo on the trans. So you see, this is what the Speedo plug looks like. And you see it's matching, I believe. And this should just plug into that like so. So that's that. So basically what I need to do is get the car off the ground, support it, and then you see these two wires. As far as I know, it does not matter which one is power, which one's ground, or however this layout works. I don't think it matters which wire goes to what, but basically from the stock automatic 4-speed from this car, there is a speedo sensor, and there is also a turbine shaft sensor, I believe it's called, and they both look the same. So I think the speedo one is the one that's it's further up, it's closer to the engine on the transmission wiring harness, and there's another one that would come more towards the back of the trans, which, like I said, is the TSS sensor, I believe. So basically what I have to do is cut the other pigtail off of the Marquis, the Marquis' original harness, splice these two wires onto it, and plug it in, and we should have a speedo. So let's get it. I'll link the video that I'm referring to because that helped me out. But supposedly, these red and black plugs, you see there's basically two identical ones. One of them is the speed sensor from the original transmission, and the other one is the turbine shaft sensor. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be cutting off the rear one that's closest to the rear O2 sensors, which is the blue plugs, the, whatever color you want to call that, light blue or green. Those plugs are actually for the primary O2s, and whichever sensor or whichever red and black plug is closest to the front, the primary O2 sensors, that is actually the TSS and not the VSS. So I'm going to be leaving that one alone, and this rear one right here, I'm going to be cutting off, lengthening the wires, and then running it back to there with the Mustang pigtail. I threw on my clutch fork cover while I was down here. It's one 10mm bolt. So this is all in, that's good. It's covered for the elements. Basically, I pulled all this wiring down, and then you can actually see right here where my fingers are, right up here, is where I tapped in from the original speed sensor, ran some extra length wires just so I had some wiggle room, and now that goes back and is plugged into the Mustang trans. So then I re-tied up all this stuff, and we're basically ready to rock and roll. So I'm gonna get the car back on the ground, and we're gonna go for a test ride and see if I have speedo now. So let's see if I pick up a mile per hour rolling down the driveway. Hey, look at that, we got speed, baby. Nice. All right, so I just checked the GPS speedo, and I was doing about 45 on the car, and the GPS speedo is reading about 44, so within a mile per hour off. I'll take that. I was expecting it to be way off. So I've only gotten like 1 or 2 downshift rev matches in the second successfully without grinding, so I don't really do that too often. But oh god, it is so nice to have a speedo in this car again. And what's nice about this too is I can actually finally keep track of mileage for oil changes, maintenance, and just be able to keep track of mileage in general. It's kind of nice. So yeah, let's see. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's pretty cool. All right, excuse my really loud fan over there. It's hot as balls in my garage. So I went and picked up a new automated or automatic digital climate control for this car. I actually stole it out of a wrecked 09 Grand Marquis. Super nice guy. Shout out to him because he didn't want to sell any parts off the car, but I basically convinced him, hey, let's do, I'll trade you mine that potentially does not work, and give you $100 as well. So because these are going from anywhere from $250 for a used one up to $1,000 for a refurbished one. And I'm not spending $1,000 on a part that I don't know is going to fix it. And unfortunately, no difference. So neat little trick and test I saw is if you try to turn, you know, your stuff on and you hit the blower motor or you hit the resistor in the engine bay for the blower motor, you might be able to wake something up, and unfortunately nothing happens. All right, I may have found my problem. So what I have right now is the keys in the ignition, and I have it just set to vent, right? So it should be calling for the blower motor technically. That's the way I'm looking at this. So I unplugged the blower motor that's right here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my little test lead. So this is hooked up directly to battery ground, and this will light up and show if we have power going to the blower motor. All right, so on that side we have nothing. Oh, look at that, 12.2 volts. So there is power getting to the blower motor. So my next move is I'm going to zip out, I believe it's just 4 screws in the corners of this plate, and pull the motor out, and see if either something is obstructing it, like a mouse nest, or if the motor itself is seized up. So let's get it. See if there's something inside of here that I don't want to see. Oh, that's... Oh, all right, well, there you have it. That's what that looks like. That is the inside of my car. It's actually not even that dirty in here. It's a little dirty in there. I should probably clean that out. But it spins freely. I'm almost tempted to jump power to it and see if it'll kick on. It could just be a bad motor though. All right, so I think I mentioned in my last clip that I wanted to bench test this blower motor to make sure that the motor is still good, and I did that right down here. It was super sketchy, but thing kicked right on as soon as I put 12 volts in ground to it. So I know that this is basically not a problem. And at this plug, I have 12 volts on this left pin, and on the right pin, I get nothing. I don't even get full 12 volts, you know, between power and ground on this. So I think my problem is I'm missing a ground somehow. And the only other thing that I know of really in this system, if we follow this cable back, goes to this plug, right? Which is technically a 5-pin plug. And you'll see right there, that black thing with the white sticker on it that used to have this plug in it. That is the resistor for the blower motor. So what I'm thinking is possibly the resistor is bad and not sending ground through to the motor. I don't know. I think I'm gonna pull the resistor out and see what it looks like, see if there's anything broken on it, or if there's a way I can just test it and kind of go from there. All right, so I ran to AutoZone and I picked up this, which is the resistor. This is what the old one looks like. Yeah, so, oh, Jesus Christ, I almost died. So, basically what I did is I have the blower motor plugged in, just resting right here. It's sort of solid. And then this is the brand new blower motor resistor. Just have it plugged in, resting up here for a second. And what I want to do is just test and see if, you know, if the blower motor works now. Because if it does, then all it was the resistor. So I can see it. You see the motor from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just turn it to vent. Holy shit. All right, so that's low setting. Looks about right. Now, if I inch my way up on the dial towards high, it should increase. So let's see. Yup. Now, ain't that a beautiful thing? All right. Oh, I'm so excited to actually have air in this car. Holy shit. All right, so funny enough, I already had this sitting on my shelf, and it seemed like it was almost a full can. So I basically just threw this onto the low port on the AC system. And now, let's see, wait for it. Boom, it's cycling the AC compressor. So I closed all the doors and the windows, and I'm kind of just gonna let the car run and see if it'll build cold air inside the cabin. I do have it set for its lowest set point. I don't know if I have anything else. Nah, it's all just gear oil and shit. That's where this other empty one is too. But yeah, let's see, do we have cold air? Now I will say I did find a problem already. I only have 4. Ooh, it's a little chilly in here. Oh, that's nice cold air coming out of there. That's nice, I like that. Yeah, baby, we got AC and Bonnie. Woo!